Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
Another big league game brought to you by Rheingold Extra Dry. Tonight the Mets meet the Philadelphia Phillies here in Connie Mack Stadium, and Lindsey Nelson, Bob Murphy, and I on hand to bring you every bit of the action. Yes, the New York Mets are on the air in their first great season. Well, down in the field now on a beautiful night for baseball. The grounds crew getting the field in shape for the start of the first game of this doubleheader. So how about checking your own supply of fine cold Rheingold? Rheingold Extra Dry. Yes, sir. Put some Rheingold on ice, because it can add a lot to your enjoyment of the game. Here is a beer with a clean, clear taste, brisk and bright all the way through. Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Dry tells you why. And say right now would be a good time to light up a Cool. You know, Cool, the only cigarette that gives you real menthol magic for a fresh, cool feeling in your throat. Come up to Cool. Well, it's almost game time, so settle back with a tall, cold glass of Rheingold, and we'll give you the starting lineups. For the New York Mets, the leadoff man will be Elio Chacon, playing shortstop. Batting second in the third base position, Rod Cannell. Batting in the third position, playing second base, Charlie Neal. Batting in the cleanup spot, playing left field, Frank Thomas. Batting fifth at first base, Marv Throneberry. The sixth batter will be the center fielder, Joe Christopher. Batting seventh in right field, Jim Hickman. Batting eighth and doing the catching, Sammy Taylor. And on the mound for the New York Mets in this two-game series, starting off here, Roger Craig. Roger has won 2 and lost 7. He has a record of 1 win and 1 loss against the Phillies. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the leadoff man will be Tony Taylor. He'll be playing second base. Batting second, playing right field, John Callison. Batting third in center field, Tony Gonzalez. The cleanup batter, the left fielder, Wes Covington. Batting fifth and doing the catching, Clay Dalrymple. Playing third base, Don Demeter. Batting in the sixth position. Batting seventh at first base, Frank Torre. And the eighth batter will be a newcomer to the National League, Bob Wine, being called up from Buffalo when Ruben Amaro was taken back into the service. And on the mound for the Philadelphia Phillies, Cal Mcleish. Cal has a record of 4 wins and 1 loss. You know, being New York's largest selling beer, you'd figure that Rheingold had quite a story behind it. But actually, it can be summed up in 2 words. Yes, extra dry. Those 2 little words tell you why Rheingold has a flavor all its own. An extra refreshing flavor other beers just don't have. Rheingold brews the long, slow, and costlier way, and it makes a big difference in taste. The flavor of Rheingold comes through brisk and bright and clean. It's beer as beer should taste. Any wonder, then, that millions of people say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. But discover the difference that dry makes yourself. Enjoy fine cold Rheingold right now, along with the game. Just open up or order up Rheingold Extra Dry. And now the Philadelphia Phillies have taken the field. And going out to the pitcher's mound, Cal Mcleish, the veteran right-hander of many seasons. Cal started out with the Brooklyn Dodgers in New York City. He was then moved on to the Chicago Cubs, went back down to the minor leagues, and then he came back into the American League, where he had his best major league success. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. The umpires now talking it over with manager Gene Mock of the Phillies and Casey Stengel of the New York Mets. Al Barlick will not be able to umpire in tonight's game. He's the fourth member of this crew, and Al is out because of an injured eye. The home plate umpire in the ball game will be Doug Harvey. Shag Crawford will be at third base. Now check that. Shag Crawford has been announced at first base, and Ed Bargo will be at third base. Three umpires in the ball game. Al Barlick not here because of an injury. Ray Davio has rejoined the New York Mets from Syracuse. And in making room for Davio, the Mets have optioned first baseman Ed Boucher to Syracuse, subject to 24-hour recall. Well, we're all set to go now as Elio Chacon steps in the batter's box. He'll be batting against Cal Mcleish. At first base, Frank Torre. Tony Taylor at second base. The shortstop is Bob Wine. The third baseman, Don Demeter. In left field, Wes Covington. The center fielder, Tony Gonzalez. And the right fielder, Johnny Callison. The catcher in the ball game, Clay Dalrymple. Now Doug Harvey walks out halfway to the pitcher's mound, asks for the ball, takes a look at it, and throws it back to Cal Mcleish. Mcleish is making his 10th start of the season, and this will be his 11th appearance. And the first pitch by the right-hander to Chacon is a curveball. It's over, strike one call. Cal has defeated the Mets. He won the 11-9 game on April 27th. He worked 6 innings in that ball game. Next pitch to Chacon is down low. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. And on May the 5th, he worked 7 1/3 innings, winning 2-1 in that ball game. Chacon takes a fastball. It's through on the outside corner for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It'll be Elio Chacon, Rod Cannell, and Charlie Neal in that order here in the top of the first inning. 1-2 pitch to Chacon is a curveball in the dirt, dug out by the catcher, Clay Dalrymple, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sunshine still shining brightly out in the right field, center field areas. A shadow course all through the infield, but it's early here in Philadelphia. 7 minutes after 6. First game of a twilight night doubleheader. Chacon takes just a little too high, ball 3. So now Chacon, 3 balls and 2 strikes as Cal Mcleish works to his first man in the top of the first. Wind blowing in slightly from center field. The full count pitch to Chacon. On the outside corner, call, strike 3. Chacon moved to first base, thought the ball was outside. Now he goes to the dugout. So Mcleish to his first man, a strikeout. That'll bring up Rod Cannell. Chacon batting .264 now, 0 for 1. Rod Cannell in batting .378. He's batting right-handed. First pitch, a let-up curveball, swung on a foul tip, and the catch is glove, strike 1. Cannell playing at third base. Mcleish back with a curve. This one is too low, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The left field foul line out in left field, 334 feet away from home plate. Right field, 329. Hard smash that's on the ground through into center field. Cannell goes to first base, takes a big turn. Holds there as the center fielder, Tony Gonzalez, comes up with the ball and throws it in. So the first base run of the ball game. Rod Cannell at first with a base hit, and Charlie Neal comes in. One out as we move to the third man in the batting order. Charlie batting right-handed, hitting .273. Coaching at third base, Sally Hemus. The first base coach, Cookie Lavagetto. Now Mcleish in the stretch position for the first time. The runner goes. The ball is hit right back to the mound. The throw to second is not in time, but the first base in time. So on the hit-run play, Cannell beats the throw on the attempted double play at second base. He is safe there. But the second baseman, Tony Taylor, relayed the ball to first base to Frank Torre to get Charlie Neal. for 1 out. So now 2 men down and Frank Thomas the batter. Frank batting .326. He has hit safely in 23 of his last 24 ball games. Frank batting right-handed. Now time call as Dalrymple goes out to talk to Cal Mcleish. Keneal down at second base. 2 outs. It's the top of the first inning. No score. McClish working to his 4th man. Now the right-hander to Thomas with his first pitch, and he misses outside for ball 1. Center field here in this ballpark, a deep one, 447 feet away. It's a pretty good right-handed hitter's ballpark. 1-0 pitch is called strike 1. Thomas started to swing and did check his swing, but it was on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thomas leads the ball club in home runs with 13, and he is second. He is actually leading the club in runs batted in with 35. The National League batting leader prior to today's game, Bill Williams of the Cubs, hitting .351. The 1-1 pitch to Frank. A swing and a miss, strike 2. Thomas is tied with Stan Musial for 8th place in the Big Ten. Stan won a ball game last night with a home run in extra innings for the St. Louis Cardinals. That broke a long losing streak for them. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Frank Thomas the batter, top of the first, and Keneal at second base. Beautiful day here in Philadelphia after a long rainy afternoon and evening last night. Field in good shape. Cal Mcleish into the stretch. And to Frank Thomas. A bouncy ball hit the third. Demeter moves in, takes it on the second hop, now throws across in time to retire the side. In the inning for the New York Mets, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left in the score. After 1/2 inning of play, the Mets nothing, and the Philadelphia Phillies coming to bat. Now a message from Rheingold Extra Dry, told completely with music. Moving now to the bottom half of the first inning. The Phillies coming to bat for the first time. Mets were out in the top of the first, scored no runs. And the leadoff man will be Tony Taylor. He'll be followed by John Callison and Tony Gonzalez. Tony Taylor batting .274, right-handed batter. And Roger Craig with his first pitch of the day. A bunt down towards the third baseman. Keneal up with it, throws underhanded in plenty of time to Throneberry at first base for the out. That bunt was bunted too hard. Keneal had time and plenty of it to make the play. So on the first pitch, Roger Craig picks up an out. And it brings up John Callison. Callison batting .313, a left-handed batter. Yesterday in the Philadelphia Inquirer, there was a long article about Callison's success here this year with the Philadelphia Phillies. And he was quoted as saying the reason why he's doing so well is that he has quit trying to pull the ball for home runs, and he's been going with a pitch. Roger Craig with his first pitch, and it's outside, ball one. Callison signed by an ex-Brooklyn pitcher, Hollis Thurston. He was originally in the Chicago White Sox organization. Craig back, and there's a bunt that goes foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. O'Neill at third base playing shallow both for Tony Taylor and for John Callison. Callison's a straightaway hitter. Outfield playing straightaway. Infield shaded just a little bit towards right field side. Now the 1-1 pitch by Craig. Taken outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Craig is making his 11th start, and this is his 15th appearance on the mound for the Mets in 1962. The start of a Twilight Night doubleheader, both on radio and TV. Pitch is outside, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike now as Craig falls behind Johnny Callison. Craig has a record against the Phillies of 1 win and 1 loss. He was the losing starter in the Philly 11-9 victory that Mcleish was in. 3-1 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 2. He was knocked out in the second inning of that ball game. And he won his victory in relief. Pitched 3 good innings, allowing no runs and only 1 hit. There's a line drive to left field, deep to left field. Thomas is back, plays it off of the wall. He takes it off the wall, throws into second base, but Johnny Callison is in with a stand-up double. Frank Thomas went back to the warning track, and the ball was hit so well he could go back no further. The ball had passed by him then. He turned and played it off of the wall, and that's the first hit of the ball game off Roger Craig. It's all even at 1-1, no score. 1 out on the batter now, Tony Gonzalez. Gonzalez batting .338. He's a left-handed batter, stands deep in the box. In the last series here in Philadelphia, Gonzalez did not play against the Mets at all. In the first one in the Polo Grounds, he hit well. Big swing and a foul straight back, strike 1 on Roger Craig's first pitch. Gonzalez is tied with Orlando Cepeda for third spot in the top 10 hitters in the National League. He's batting .338. He stands as deep as you can get in the box and far back from the plate. 8 home runs, 27 runs batted in. Craig back with a fastball outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. One day game, the Chicago Cubs defeated San Francisco 4-3. So the Giants, who have been red hot, they had won 12 of their last 13, lost to the Cubs when the Cubs scored in the bottom of the 9th inning to win it. Don Larson, the losing pitcher in the ballgame. Play at second base. Chacon goes over in back of Callison, but not there in time. Ellsworth was the winner. He went all the way. Cubs only got 5 hits in the ballgame for their 4 runs. Now time called as Roger Craig comes in to talk to his catcher, Sammy Taylor. All the other National League games scheduled at night. And, of course, the Yankees defeated Cleveland 5-0 behind the 4-hit pitching of Ralph Terry. Losing pitcher was Grant. Maris a home run and Blanchard a home run. Roger Craig set on the mound. 1 out. The 1-1 pitch is down low, ball 2. Tony Gonzalez, the batter. He'll be followed by Wes Covington. Bottom half of the first inning, no score in the game. Craig shakes off the first sign, then walks in front of the mound to take off the second, and he'll get another. Peanuts Lowry, the third base coach for the Philadelphia Phillies. Al Vincent at first base. The 1-1 pitch. It on the ground. Keneal to his left. Knocks it down. Can't find the handle to pick it up, and there's no play. And it's scored in there. Rod Keneal went over to his left to get to the ball. He had the ball in front of him. And he kept it in front of him as he couldn't pick it up. Reached again and still couldn't find it. And then had no play as Gonzales had moved on down the line. So now the Phillies have runners at first and second base with one out, and the batter is Wes Covington. First error of the ball game. Covington, a left-handed batter, batting .270. Craig's first pitch is on the outside corner, called strike one. Covington was the first man to hit a ball over the scoreboard in right center field. It's 405 feet to the scoreboard, but the scoreboard extends up approximately 40 feet higher from the ground. A play at second base, but Chacon, who came over, hadn't time to make the tag. Johnny Callison at second base. At first base, Tony Gonzalez. And the batter's Wes Covington with one out. Pitch back to Covington outside. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marv Throneberry at first base. Charlie Neal at second. Chacon at short. Rod Keneal at third base. Thomas in left field shaded way over towards the center field area. Joe Christopher in center field, in right center field against Covington, the pull hitter. And in right field, Jim Hickman. The catcher, Sammy Taylor, gives the sign, and the 1-1 pitch is hit on the ground. Hard to Neal. A chance for two. Over to Chacon in time, to first base in time, a double play. And that retires the side. In the inning for the Philadelphia Phillies, no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 error. 2 men on base, 1 erased by the double play, so 1 man is left, and the score at the end, a 1 inning to play. The New York Mets nothing, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. Well, let's check the scores now in play right now in the Major Leagues. In the National League, only 1 game completed, a day game in Chicago. The Chicago Cubs defeated San Francisco 4-3. The winning pitcher, Ellsworth, the losing pitcher, Larson, in relief of McCormick. No home runs in the ball game. On the schedule for tonight's action, Cincinnati at St. Louis, Milwaukee at Houston, Los Angeles at Pittsburgh. Incidentally, that Los Angeles-Pittsburgh game will be, the conclusion will actually be 2 games as far as scores are concerned. They will play off their suspended game of last night. In that ball game, the Dodgers were leading the game 7-3 after 8 innings. The game was called because of the 12:50 curfew. That game will be played first, and then the regularly scheduled game will go on later. In the American League, Boston defeated Detroit 2-1. The winning pitcher was Bombo Kett, and the winning run was a home run by Malzone in the 9th inning. Tillman and Brown also had home runs, the losing pitcher Regan. And Cleveland lost to the Yanks 5-0. Terry, the winning pitcher, the losing pitcher Grant, Maris, and Blanchard home runs. The night games, Detroit at Boston, Kansas City at Minnesota, and Washington at Baltimore. Here's Cal Mcleish now to Marv Throneberry. And his first pitch here in the top of the second with no score is ball 1. Marv Throneberry, left-handed batter, hitting .161, playing first base. Now Mcleish, the right-hander, back to the plate, and he's low this time, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. It'll be Throneberry, Christopher, and Hickman in that order here in the top of the second inning. Next pitch to Throneberry is inside, ball 3. So Mcleish, 3 balls and no strikes to his leadoff man. McLeish with a 3-0 pitch, and he misses low for ball 4. Cal, who has good control, walks his first man at the start of the second. Thornberry down at first base, and the batter now, Joe Christopher. Christopher batting 184. Joe, a right-handed batter, standing deep in the box. And the first pitch to him, taken over, strike call. The 1-strike pitch to Joe, 2 low, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thornberry at first base with a short lead, being held on by Frank Torre. Now McLeish back, and he is outside, just outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jim Hickman, the on-deck batter. As McLeish sets, looks at the runner at first and comes to the plate. A check and a swing, a bouncing ball to third. Demeter over, throws to second base in time, but the second baseman, Tony Taylor, does not throw the ball to first as Christopher had the play beat there. So they pick up the lead runner, exchange Thornberry for Christopher, and it brings up Jim Hickman. Jim batting 267. Right-handed batter looking down for the correct sign to be given by Salihemus at third base. Leo DeRocher claims that Salihemus gives more signs than any man he's ever seen in baseball. First pitch to Jim. Jim squares around and takes it. It's low, ball 1. Jim attempting the decoy and the bunt play. Pulled in Demeter at third base. Down at third plane and back of the bag about 3 steps. Hickman has 7 home runs for the year, and he also has 7 doubles. So 14 of his 31 hits going for extra bases. McLeish looks at the catcher as he sets on the mound in his set position, then steps off of the mound. Christopher moved back to first, now leading off again as McLeish goes back to the plate. And there's a pitch out, no one going. A lot of articles written here in Philadelphia about the fine catching of Holness. This is the other catcher the Phillies have. Bob Holness, who used to be with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he had a good day against the Dodgers. Dodgers played here 2 nights ago. Threw out Wills a couple of times, and they were commenting about his strong arm. 2-0 pitch to Hickman. Call, strike 1. Koufax pitched in that ball game and won it. Koufax has got a pretty good strikeout record against the Phillies in 154 games. 154 innings, I should say. He has struck out 188 batters. Way over 1 per inning average. Hickman takes low, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. So now Hickman looking for the hit-or-take sign or the hit-and-run sign with Christopher at first base. 1 out. No score in the ball game. On-deck batter, Sammy Taylor. Christopher with the lead. Does not go as McLeish steps back off the pitching rubber. Now McLeish back on. Christopher with the lead again. He does not go. The 3-1 pitch is taken over. Strike call. So now a full count on Jim Hickman. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. The 3-2 pitch as Christopher goes is swung on and fouled away. So Joe will go back to first base, and the count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now, while we watch Christopher go back to first, we pause for station identification.
This is WGY 810 on your radio dial, Schenectady, where the time is 29 minutes before 7.
Ralph Kiner along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. First game of a Twilight Night doubleheader. No score, and 3-2 on Jim Hickman. Christopher goes, and the pitch is fouled away. So for the second time, Christopher will have to return to first base, and the count will stay at 3-2. Say, fans, do you know why Rheingold tastes so good? Well, Dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. So why not find that out for yourself? Why don't you enjoy a cold glass right now, right along with the ball game? The 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Christopher going to throw there, not in time. Throw on the 3-2 pitch. Joe Christopher picks up the first stolen base of the ball game as he moves on down after Jim Hickman strikes out. That's the second strikeout by Cal Mcleish, and a runner now at second base with 2 outs and the batter, Sammy Taylor. Sam batting 2-8, a left-handed batter, and they're going to put him on intentionally. The next batter will be the pitcher Roger Craig, and Roger has yet to pick up a base hit in the 1962 season. Ball 1, ball 2 now. Ball 3 outside. There's ball 4, and Sammy Taylor moves down to first base. That's the second walk and the first intentional pass. And the batter now will be Roger Craig. 2 outs, no score in the game. And the Mets with a runner at second base, Joe Christopher, and a runner at first base, Sammy Taylor. Manager Gene Mock playing the percentage to the hill here early in the ball game in the top of the second. He'd rather take a chance on Craig than Sammy Taylor. First pitch to Roger, a right-handed batter, is a curveball on the outside corner, strike 1. Roger 0 for 14 this year. But he's not a total loss at the plate. He can get base hits. There's a line drive that might be over the second baseman's head. No, Tony Taylor goes back and he makes the catch. So Roger just misses, helping his own cause, and that retires the side. In the inning for the New York Mets, no runs, no hits. There was a walk in the inning, 1 intentional to make it 2, and 2 men left. And the score now at the end of 1 1/2 innings of play. The New York Mets, nothing. The Philadelphia Phillies, nothing. You know, every once in a while you go through the rule book to check on a special ruling. And while going through one the other day, we dug up a Rheingold riddle for all of you baseball fans. Now, I know you may know that when a base runner is hit by a batted ball, a batter automatically gets credit for a base hit, and the runner is automatically out. But who gets credit for the putout? Think about that one for a minute. Well, if you know your baseball, you may have known that the fielder nearest the runner gets the credit for the putout. And if you know your beer, you'll surely know this. 2 little words, extra dry, tell you why Rheingold has a taste no other beer can match. They tell you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way for a taste that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. But why not find that out for yourself? Enjoy a cool, refreshing glass of Rheingold extra dry right now, right along with the game. Well, there's no score in the ball game. We're moving to the bottom half of the second inning with the Phillies coming to bat against Roger Craig for the second time. And their leadoff man will be their 5th hitter in the batting order, Clay Dalrymple. Clay, a left-handed batter, will be followed by Dom Demeter and then Frank Torre in that order. Dalrymple batting .311. First pitch to him is pulled foul, a sharp line drive down the right field side, strike one. Dalrymple has changed his stance considerably, and he credits the big change to the fact that he is now a 300 hitter. He has a widely spread stance, even wider than Joe DiMaggio used to stand, or even wider really than Gus Erniel, if you can recall his stance. And he tries to hit with no stride. Reason for it, follow the ball better, and you're not fooled as much on change of speed. There's a strike called as Craig comes in on the outside corner, strike two. Dalrymple being played as a dead pull hitter. Everybody shifted over towards the right side. He takes on the outside corner, strike three call. So Roger Craig picks up his first strikeout. He gets the first man here in the top of the second inning, the bottom of the second inning, and the batter now is Don Demeter. Demeter, a big right-handed batter, hitting .304. He has been converted from an outfielder to third base. He, too, has a very widely spread stance. The first pitch to him, a curveball. Demeter tries to check his swing, but hits the ball foul. Strike one. Last night's postponed game has been rescheduled as part of a twilight doubleheader on August 28th. There's a high fly ball to deep center field. Joe Christopher playing deep, moves to his left. Now Hickman comes over and makes a catch. So Hickman, moving away from the sun, takes the ball instead of Christopher for out number two. Two outs, and Frank Torre is the batter. Frank, a left-handed batter, well remembered for his great play for the Milwaukee Braves. And for some strange reason, he lost his batting eye, went down to the minor leagues, and has worked his way back up here with the Philadelphia Phillies. Craig's first pitch is just outside, ball one. Torre batting .281. 1-0 pitch, catches on the outside corner, strike one. In the second game, Art Mahaffey will be pitching for the Phils against Jay Hook. Both games being televised tonight. There's a slow changeup that's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Craig moves in front of the pitcher's rubber and said, with his hands, where was it? Now Craig returns to the plate, and he's outside with this one for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Mets move on to Chicago, then Houston to complete their road trip. They'll be returning to the Polo Grounds to open up a series with the Chicago Cubs on June 15th. Now the 3-1 pitch by Roger Craig. And it's low for ball 4. So Roger walks his first man of the ball game. No score in the game, and the batter is Bob Wine. The first game of that homestand on June 15th with the Cubs will be a night game. That's Friday night. Then they play the Cubs Ladies' Day game on Saturday afternoon and a doubleheader on Sunday. Then Milwaukee moves in for a night game on Monday. First pitch to Bob Wine is lined over the shortstop's head in the center field. Elio Chacon couldn't quite get to it, and Joe Christopher took it out in center field and threw in to hold the runners at first and second. So Bob Wine, playing for the first time against the New York Mets, picks up a base hit. And now the Phillies with 2 outs, threatening with the batter coming up, Cal Mcleish. Cal, a right-handed batter. Second hit issued by Roger Craig. So now the identical situation of both pitchers batting with runners at first and second. First pitch to Mcleish, a called strike. Roger Craig had the same opportunity in the top of the second, and he hit a semi-line drive to the second baseman, just missing a base hit. Now Mcleish his chance with runners at first and second. One strike pitch is over, called strike two. Well, Roger Craig way out in front, no balls and two strikes. Cal Mcleish at one time a switch batter, now bats exclusively from the right-hand side. Craig with a two-strike pitch. It's way outside, ball one. Sammy Taylor going to his knees to pick that one up. Some ball clubs have an automatic fine if anyone, let alone a pitcher, ever hits a two-strike, no-ball pitch. Now the 1-2 pitch. Popped up in the air. Coming down the line, Mark Throneberry. He's in fair territory, and he makes the catch. And that retires the side. In the inning for the Philadelphia Phillies, no runs on one hit. There were no errors, one walk, two men left. And the score at the end of 2 innings of play. The New York Mets, nothing, and the Philadelphia Phillies, nothing. Say, fans, you know, many times in broadcasting, we broadcasters use a information book that's well available for you. It's the Mets Yearbook, containing action pictures and records of all the Mets, plus a complete history of many of the historic sports events which took place in the Polo Grounds over its illustrious history. And it's on sale in the stands at the Polo Grounds, but you may also order it by mail by sending 50 cents to Mets Yearbook, Polo Grounds, New York 39, New York. That's the Mets Yearbook. And some fine pictures of Met players in there, some facts about Gil Hodges, Frank Thomas, Richie Ashburn, all about their past backgrounds, their past histories. It's well worth the price of the 50 cents. Well, we're moving now to the top of the third inning in a ball game that has shown no score to date. But here's a fellow that scores every time, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very kindly, Ralph Canner. And as we go along to the third inning, Elio Chacon comes alongside to watch as Cal Mcleish throws in his warm-up tosses. For Elio, this will be his second time up in the game. He took a called third strike facing the veteran right-hander Cal Mcleish in the first inning. Nobody on, nobody out. Top half of the third. The wind-up pitch by Mcleish. A knee-high strike by the right-hander. Cal started out in pro ball at a very early age. A little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Elio Chacon. Cal enjoyed his top success pitching for Al Lopez at Cleveland. Now the 1-1 pitch to Elio Chacon. He runs up as if to bunt, then lays off of it. 2 balls and 1 strike. That brought third baseman Don Demeter charging in. Taken for a strike, 2-2. Rod Keneal, the on-deck batter, and then Charlie Neal. The pitch thrown by Cal Mcleish, outside and high, ball 3. Full count now, 3-2. Beautiful day for a ball game. Skies broke clear early this morning after the full day and night of rain in the city of brotherly love yesterday. Full count, 3-2, and the payoff pitch to Elio Chacon. Just off the outside edge, it's ball 4, and Elio walks. So there is the third walk given up by Cal Mcleish. 1 of the 3 was intentional, and it brings up Rod Keneal. Rod singled to center field in the first inning. Rod has done just about everything but drive the bus down from New York so far for the New York Mets. Rod has played every position except center fielder, pitcher, and catcher. Right-hand hitter standing back from the plate. Leans in and takes ball one. Rod a spirited ball player if there ever was one. Don Demeter, even with the bag at third, to guard against the possibility of a bunt. Keneal, a line drive type hitter, and the type of fellow who would do anything to get on base. Second and short, jammed toward the middle a bit against Keneal. Cal Mcleish steps off, forcing Elio Chacon back. Here's the pitch on the way. He holds up, and it's in there for a call strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Keneal now has 15 for 38. He's hitting about 400. Rod, who served his apprenticeship in the Yankee farm system in the minor leagues, played his way right on the ball club down in St. Petersburg, Florida. Ground ball hammered down to third. Demeter fires over to second to Taylor. There's one on to Torre. Double play. A ground ball was tailor-made for two. Hit sharply. Came up on a big hop for Don Demeter. He started that ball over to second to Tony Taylor and on to Frank Torre. So each team now has made a double play in the game. 2 outs and nobody on in the top of the third inning. Here's Charlie Neal. In the first inning, Casey Stengel put on the hit-and-run play with Rod Keneal on first and Charlie Neal hitting. And the Mets stayed out of the double play. Strike called in the outside corner. Charlie hit a ground ball back to Mcleish. He tried to get 2. He fired to second. Too late for Keneal, who was running on the play. But the throw on to first was in time to get Charlie Neal. Charlie hitting .273. Pitch by Cal Mcleish. Inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Art Mahaffey, the ace of the staff for the Phillies, works in the second game this evening. For the New York Mets, it will be Jay Hook. Whacked foul down the right field line and toward the upper deck. This is out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Charlie Neal. Tomorrow will be a travel day for the New York Mets. They'll be on their way to Chicago. Just a little bit inside, brushing him back from the plate, 2-2. Well, a weekend in Chicago will be a busy one. A doubleheader Friday afternoon, a single game Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader on Sunday afternoon. Mcleish pitching 2-2. Curve is fouled back up toward the crowd, and this will be out of play. Cal Mcleish, veteran right-hander from Anadarko, Oklahoma. Makes his off-season home now in Oklahoma City. He started out when he was 15 in the Dodger organization. 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. Full count, 3-2 on Charlie Neal. 2 outs, nobody on, no score. Frank Thomas in the circle, hoping that Neal can save him a turn at bat. He does. Ball 4 as it breaks outside. Well, that's 4 walks given up by Cal Mcleish, which is unusual for him. He rarely walks over 2 or 3 in a 9-inning ball game. He walked him on 3-2, and that brings up Frank Thomas. Frank 0 for 1, pulled the grounder down to third and was thrown out by Demeter in the first inning. Now Mcleish off the stretch. In comes his pitch. Smothered in the dirt by Clay Dalrymple. 1 ball and no strikes. Dalrymple smothered that one like you try to smother a fly on a kitchen table. Ralph says it's like trying to pick up a grasshopper on the ground. I like your description much better.
You ever try that?
Yeah, I've tried it. Anybody that ever went fishing in Missouri had to try that. Now the pitch on the way. Breaking ball. Thomas held up in time. 2 balls and no strikes. Yes, sir. He had to catch those grasshoppers before he could catch those perch. Two and 0 on Frank Thomas. No score. Top of the third. Charlie Neal on first. Two men down as Calvin Mcleish takes his time. Now the pitch on the way. In the dirt. Good stab by Clay Dalrymple. So he goes behind on Thomas 3-0. Frank checking now with Solly Hemus to see if he has the green light. Breeze rather light, blowing in favor of the left-hand hitters, cutting across the diamond from third toward first. Down the left field line for Frank Thomas is 334 feet to reach the wall. Low wall into the lower deck. The 3-0 pitch. He went after it, a swing and a miss. McLeish threw him a breaking ball on 3-0. Thomas tried to get it, but couldn't do so. 3 balls and 1 strike. Frank Torre holding against Charlie Neal. Now Charlie starts walking off to grab his lead. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Smash hit foul just outside the bag at third, and we have a full count, 3-2. So this will be the automatic hit and run for Charlie Neal. Charlie was running on that 3-1 delivery. Now with 2 men away, he'll be going again. Last night's game rained out. This is now an 11-game road trip for the Mets. They get back home on June 15th. Now Neal edging away. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Fine job by Cal Mcleish. He was behind on Frank Thomas 3-0 and came back to strike him out with Frank lashing out at all 3 pitches. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. And now at the end of 2.5 innings, the score, the New York Mets nothing and the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. Coming up now, a musical pitch with an interesting switch.
This is Tito Rodriguez for Rheingold Extra Dry. Rheingold el brindis perfecto para todos, familia y amigos. De sabor sin igual, la cerveza ideal. Tome Rheingold bien fría y vera. In Spanish, it's magnifica. In English, it's great. In any language, it's Rheingold Extra Dry. Rheingold is brewed longer and slower for flavor that's clean, clear through. It's beer as beer should taste. Dry tells you why. My beer is Rheingold, that dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet. It's the dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
Now the last of the third inning here at Connie Mack Stadium. The Phillies are coming up against Roger Craig. And the leadoff hitter, second baseman Tony Taylor, batting right-handed, is up for the second time in the game. He tried to bunt his way on in the first inning. Rod Keneal threw him out. Ball 1, it's outside. Johnny Callison on deck, and then Tony Gonzalez. Top 3 men in the batting order so far this year have been doing most of the hitting for the Philadelphia Phils. A little bit low, ball 2, 2-0. Craig going behind on Tony Taylor. Now the 2-0 pitch by Craig. He holds up and it breaks over, a called strike. Taylor hitting at 274. Two-one delivery down around the shoe tops. So it goes 3-1 on Tony Taylor, and now he checks with Peanuts Lowry, the third base coach. The Silver Fox, Al Vinson, is on the coaching lines at first. Mets have the infield and the outfield straight away against Tony Taylor. Craig now with a 3-1 delivery. Zipped right in there for a call strike, 3-2. Pitching 3-2. Foul ball off the fist, back into the crowd upstairs and out of play. So it remains at 3-2. These two teams have played 7 games this year. The Phillies have won 4. The New York Mets have won 3. Last time the Mets were here, they won a real 12-inning thriller when Gil Hodges singled in the 12th, driving 2 runs in. Now the 3-2 pitch. Outside, it's ball 4, and Taylor leads off the last of the 3rd inning with a walk. So Roger Craig now gives up his 2nd walk. These two pitchers, both veterans, McLeish and Craig, rarely walk many men in a game. McLeish has walked 4, and Craig has walked 2, which is unusual. Now the hitter is Johnny Callison. He's wielding a hot bat. Callison has hit in 9 straight games. He doubled over Thomas's head his first time up today. Ball 1 is low. Callison only 23 years old. He's batting at .313. The Phillies were so high on young Johnny Callison at the time they made the deal to get him that they gave up Gene Freese to get him. He is really starting to live up to that potential. Now throw to first, not in time. Taylor scrambling to get back. A throw to first. Not in time. Thornberry slapping the tag on Tony Taylor as he lunges back in. Nobody out in the last half of the 3rd inning. Tony Taylor on first. 0-0. Callison the batter facing Roger Craig. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul tip. No play in the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. Against the Mets this year, Johnny Callison has hit about .450. Tony Gonzalez, Johnny Callison, and Clay Dalrymple have been the 3 toughest hitters on the Phillies for the New York Mets so far this year. Tommy Taylor caught a foul tip on his throwing hand, and so he asked umpire Doug Harvey to let him throw a couple to be sure he was handling that ball all right. One ball, 1 strike on John Callison. Elio Chacon playing him to pull as Elio shades over towards second. Neal up at double play depth on the right side of the infield. Now throw to first, and it's not in time. Thrown to first, not in time. Roger started out with real intent, but as he came around to throw, he realized he couldn't get him, and so he just lobbed the ball over there. Very few right-handers work as hard at keeping runners close as Roger Craig. Throw to first. Save. Close play that time. Roger can pick you off. He picked Orlando Cepeda off twice. Celebrated incident at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. A little bit high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Roger checks the runner and throws to first. Save. He had to dive head first to get back. Roger, by firing over there, can wear him out just a little bit and slow him up a bit. It's all worth it. Ground ball flash towards second into center field, a base hit. Taylor around second is on his way to third, and the Phillies will have runners at the corners with nobody out. So right fielder Johnny Callison has 2 for 2. A ground single up the middle beyond the reach of Charlie Neal. Tony Taylor spinning around to third. Runners on first and third, nobody out. And Tony Gonzalez coming up to hit. Gonzalez leads the Phils in batting with an average of .338. He reached safely on an error charge to Rod Keneal in the first inning. Now the Phillies have the best scoring threat of the game. Runners on first and third, nobody out. The game in the third inning, the Mets have the infield back looking for 2 to break up the threat of a big inning. The outfield deep. In comes the pitch by Craig. A smash hit hard, backhanded, knocked down by Neal. Thrown to Chacon for a force play. That's all they can get. Tony Taylor comes in to score. Charlie Neal, trying to make a backhand play on a real hot smash, was unable to have the ball stick in his glove, but did knock it down and had time to recover and go to Chacon for the force play on Callison. The ball was hit hard by Gonzales, and he picks up a run batted in, his 28th of the year. And the Phillies lead 1-0. The hitter is Wes Covington. Covington slashed into a double play started by Neal in the first inning. A line drive hit hard, a base hit going into right field. Hickman is up with the ball. Around second, Gonzales. Here's the throw. It'll be close to slide. He's out at third. A great throw by Hickman. Beautiful throw by Jim Hickman, the right fielder. And Tony Gonzales was out, and they had him with something to spare. Gonzales trying to go from first to third on the base hit to right field that was ripped by Covington. And a perfect, almost perfect throw by Jim Hickman. Just a little bit wide on the left field line side of the bag. But the throw had so much on it and covered ground in such a hurry, the third baseman, Rod Cannell, had time to go a little bit off to his left, grab it, come back to the bag, and have the tag waiting on Tony Gonzales. Jim Hickman has a wonderful throwing arm. Now there are two away, Covington on first, and the hitter is Clay Dalrymple. Dalrymple batting at .311. He took a call third strike, his first time up in the second inning. Pitch by Craig, a line drive down the right field line, and it's a fair ball. It hit right on the line. It's rolling down toward the bullpen. Covington on his way to third. He turns third. He's held up there as Dalrymple goes into second with a double. Clay Dalrymple hit a line drive over Thornberry's head, and the ball's hit right smack dab on the line. Then scooted over into foul territory and down toward the bullpen. The ball was actually slowed up going in the direction of the bullpen when in foul territory. It hit the bullpen mound to rise, and that kind of bounced into the air and slowed it up. So suddenly the Phillies sat in on Roger Craig, and they had hit the ball hard here in the last half of the third inning. Now they have runners on second and third, two down, and the batter is Don Demeter. The left-hand hitters, Johnny Callison, Tony Gonzales, Wes Covington, and Clay Dalrymple, all dealing Craig trouble as they hit the ball hard. So this is a big hitter now for Roger Craig. The batter is Don Demeter. He flied deep to right center in the second. Hickman going over to make the play. Dalrymple is probably the most improved hitter in the National League right now. Now Craig wants another sign from Sammy Taylor. Now Roger walks down in front of the mound to take it off and backs up to the pitching slab again. Wes Covington on third, Clay Dalrymple on second, two down, one run in. Phillies leading 1-0, last half of the third inning. Now Roger into his windup. Pitch to Demeter. Outside, it's ball one. There's four left-hand hitters right in a row in that Philly batting order. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All stinging the ball against Roger Craig. Now Demeter, a right-hand batter, is up. Runners on second and third. Pitch to Demeter. He starts to go and then holds up ball 2, 2-0. Don Demeter with 6 home runs and 31 RBIs, leading the Phillies in RBIs. Gonzales leads the club in home runs with 8. Craig behind on the count. The pitch. He couldn't hold up in time. That's a strike. Good slider by Craig. 2-1. Phillies 1 run on 5 hits and no errors. The New York Mets, no runs, 1 hit and 1 error. Right now, Craig trying to pitch out of trouble with Covington on third, Dalrymple on second, 2 men down. Ground smash down to third. Rod Keneal is up. The long throw to Throneberry in time, and the side is out. Fine fielding in the inning, particularly on the truly great throw by Jim Hickman from right field to cut down Tony Gonzalez. For the Phillies in the third, they get the opening run of the game on 3 hits. No errors, 2 left on. And now 3 innings complete, and the score, the Phillies 1, and the New York Mets, nothing. Well, tomorrow will be a travel day for the Mets. They'll be making their way out to Chicago, where they have 5 games in 3 days over the weekend. Friday doubleheader starting at 2 o'clock New York time. Saturday single game and Sunday doubleheader. And, of course, the pitchers of the New York Mets will be contending with Billy Williams. Billy, who was the Rookie of the Year in the National League last year, is trying to be the Player of the Year this year. Right now leading the National League in batting. Billy Williams, George Altman, Ernie Banks, Ron Santo. Cub problems have stemmed more from pitching than from hitting. And the Cub bats will be coming into the Polo Grounds on the 15th of June to open the next homestand for the New York Mets. On the next homestand, starting on Friday night the 15th, the Cubs will be in, followed by the Milwaukee Braves and the Houston Colts, 45. While the Mets are away on this road trip, playing 11 games before returning on June 15th, tickets will be on sale at the advanced sale window on the 8th Avenue side of the Polo Grounds, as well as the ticket outlets located at Grand Central Station, the 42nd and Vanderbilt ramp, the Long Island waiting room of the Penn Station. Remember, too, that ticket reservations may be made at all Howard Clothes stores in the New York area. Box seats are $3.50, reserve seats $2.50. When ordering by mail, add 25 cents for postage and handling. Mara Throneberry hits a high fly ball deep to right center field. It is up, it is way out there, and it's off the scoreboard in right center field. Throneberry goes into second and holds up with a double. Oh, did he ever hit that one?
We pause now for station identification.
You're tuned to WGY 810 on your radio dial, Schenectady, where you can hear all the games of the New York Mets.
Enough power to line up a city block. The ball landing fairly high up on the scoreboard, deep in right center field, about 400 feet from home. A double from Harv Throneberry. Now Joe Christopher up. Inside of the knees, 1 ball and no strikes. Joe reached safely on a fielder's choice his first time up. Now the Mets have the tying run on second, nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. Pitch by McLeish. Ball 2 at the knees, 2 balls and no strikes. Two 2-0 on Joe Christopher. Jim Hickman waiting on deck. Now McLeish up on the pitching slab, makes the 1-second stop. Here's his pitch. A foul ball, high in the air, drifting down the right field line. It'll be over in the crowd. So now it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Joe Christopher. Joe has good running speed. Right-hand batter. Slightly closed stance. Right down on the knob of that bat. In comes the pitch. He strides and takes, and it breaks on the outside corner, 2-2. Christopher turns to ask Doug Harvey the location of it. Harv Throneberry on second with a long double, nobody out. The 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of that one, a breaking ball that's fouled into the dirt. Veteran right-hander Cal Mcleish with 4 wins and a single setback on the year, pitching for the Philadelphia Phils. Now he pitches 2-2. Fouled again out of play. This is back up toward the top of Connie Mack Stadium, and the count stays at 2-2. Marv Throneberry went up there taking picks. He jumped right on the first pitch thrown by Cal Mcleish and hit it high on the scoreboard in right center field. Next pitch. Ball 3 outside and low, and now the string is out. 3-2 on Joe Christopher. Throneberry with the lead off second. 3-2 delivery, and the ball is popped up off the fist. Waiting for it is Demeter in fair territory behind third. He has it for the out. One away now, and before Jim Hickman comes up, let's step out for station identification. Now Jim Hickman batting against Cal Mcleish in the top of the fourth inning. The Phillies leading 1-0. Marv Throneberry on second. Taken out of the dirt by Clay Dalrymple as Cal Mcleish continues to throw those low breaking pitches down around the knees. Hickman went down swinging his first time up. Fastball a little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes. He made a wonderful throw from right field to cut down the speedy Tony Gonzalez trying to go from first to third on a single to right by Wes Covington. And it was a big play in the inning. It saved a run. 2 balls and no strikes on Jim Hickman. Now into the stretch, Cal Mcleish. And the pitch on the way. Ball 3 outside, 3-0. Now on Jim Hickman. Marv Throneberry on second, 1 man down. That's trying to get the tying run home here in the top of the fourth inning. Now McLeish makes the stop. And the 3-0 pitch. Ball 4, and he walks Hickman on 4 pitches. So now Cal McLeish has given up 5 walks in 3 1/3 and brings up Sammy Taylor. Sammy drew an intentional walk in the second inning. Joe Christopher was on second with 2 down, so they put Sammy Taylor on the open base and pitched to Roger Craig. The strategy almost backfired when Roger hit a soft liner toward right center that Taylor went back to get. A ground ball hit down to first base, handled by Torre on to second for 1, throw back to first, double play. Great handling the throw, coming back. So the Phillies turn one of baseball's picturesque double plays, started by Frank Torre deep behind the bag at first, to the shortstop Bobby Wine, who made a strong throw back to first, to Cal Mcleish, who was there covering. The Phillies now have their second double play in 4 innings. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. At the end of 3 1/2 innings, the score, the Phillies 1, and the New York Mets nothing. You know, popularity like Rheingold has doesn't just happen. It's a result of millions of people agreeing that Rheingold has what they want in beer. A refreshing difference they can recognize right off. And 2 little words tell you what the difference is. The 2 words, extra dry. Yes, sir, extra dry tells you Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Brisk and bright and clean, clear through. That's Rheingold beer for you. And it is the beer for you. Rheingold is a better beer because it's the dry beer. You know, it's a wonderful beer for these wonderful days we all like to enjoy. Even the flavor has a sparkle to it. You'll find that out with your very first glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. Why not do it right now? Join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold the dry beer. Yes, sir, think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. Buy some today, tonight, or tomorrow, or the first chance you get. Discover the difference that dry makes. Ask for Rheingold Extra Dry Beer. Now Frank Torre leads off the home fourth inning for the Phillies and ignores the first pitch thrown, ball one. Torre drew a walk, his only other time up. Torre hitting at 281. A grounder hit hard down to first, fielded by Throneberry. Craig is covering. They have him one down. Throneberry had to handle that one deep behind the bag and not far from the line. One away and nobody on now, and Bobby Wine will be coming up to hit. The Phillies are hoping to get Ruben Amaro back on the 18th of July. That is the date he is scheduled to be discharged from the Army. The Phillies were playing over 500 ball at the time Ruben Amaro had to go back in the Army on the 7th of May. He had been out playing on furlough. And since that time, they have gone into somewhat of a tailspin. Inside and a high, ball one. All of their problems certainly cannot be traced to the return of Ruben Amaro to the Army, because the big factor undoubtedly was the simple fact that, like the Mets, they had 13 games in a row with the Giants and Dodgers. Ball two outside, 2-0 now on Bobby Wine. But Gene Mock was saying, even before Amaro left, that his absence would be keenly felt, and they insist that it has. Although Bobby Wine, particularly of the last 5 days, has been playing very well. He's a slick fielder. Breaking ball over, a call strike, 2-1. Wine so far has been hitting more with the Phillies than he was hitting at Buffalo in the International League. Fastball just off the inside corner, and Craig goes behind on Bobby Wine, 3-1. When it comes to fielding, without a doubt, Bobby Wine is a major league shortstop. Now the 3-1 pitch, and it's a pop foul behind the plate. Sammy Taylor hoping for a play. He has room. He's under it, and he takes it. So it's 2 up and 2 set aside by Roger Craig, and the batter will be Cal Mcleish. Last half of the fourth inning, the Phillies in front, 1-0. Now Cal getting a hand as he comes out to hit. Cal Mcleish, batting right-handed, swings and misses, strike one. That's over for a call strike. The time Cal came out of school, the Dodger scouts wanted Bobby Morgan, but they had to take his buddy Cal Mcleish. Outside and low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bobby Morgan, incidentally, is still playing the outfield with Buffalo in the International League. One and 2, the count on Cal Mcleish. The pitch by Craig, way outside. It's in the dirt. No damage done, nobody on. 2 and 2. Roger tried to get him to go for a bad ball. Well, a gentleman with real class, a very handsome fellow, checked in to Philadelphia to work out with the Mets prior to tonight's ball game and try and win a spot on the New York Mets pitching staff, and that would be the right-hander Art Ditmar from Springfield, Massachusetts. A high pop fly to short center field. Coming in hard is Christopher. Coming out is Chacon. And it's Elio who makes the catch for the out. Ball carried out to shallow center field, and Elio had to make a long run to get there. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. And so at the end of 4 in the opener of our Twilight Night twin bill, the score, the Phillies 1, and the New York Mets, nothing. In the second game this evening, Art Mahaffey will be on the mound for the Phillies, and for the New York Mets, it will be right-hander Jay Hook. One of the real pleasant features on the next homestand for the New York Mets, of course, will be Camera Day, which will be for the Saturday game with the Cubs on the 16th of June, so make sure your camera is in good condition. Plan to be on hand at the Polo Grounds between 12 and 12:45. You'll be allowed to go down to the field boxes, where the ball players will be in uniform to pose for photos, and there will be prizes for the outstanding photographs. That's on Saturday, the 16th of June, the second game of the up-and-coming homestand for the New York Mets. Something you won't want to miss. On the next homestand, the Cubs, Braves, and Colt 45s will be coming in. In the fifth inning here, it'll be Roger Craig leading off against Cal Mcleish. Cal with that big windup starts him off with a fastball outside and low. 1 ball and no strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Top of the fifth inning. Phillies in front, 1-0. Swing and a miss on a high hard one. Roger really unbuttoned his shirt to take a riffle of that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball hammered to shortstop. Bobby Wine is up with it, straightens up, throws across to Frank Torre. Plenty of time. 1 away, nobody on. Cal Mcleish with that good breaking ball and that good control, keeping everything down low and breaking away from the hitters, has been forcing the Met batters to hit that ball in the dirt. As Casey would say, so far, Mr. Mcleish has been throwing grounders. So far, the outfield has not recorded a single putout. Mets have 2 hits, a single by Rod Keneal and a tremendous double off the scoreboard in right center by Marv Throneberry. And the play of the game was the throw from right field by Jim Hickman, getting Tony Gonzalez at third. Ball 1 to Elio Chacon. Little Elio, hitting at 264, has been called out on strikes and drawn a walk. He's 0 for 1. Fastball over, a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Phillies did a good job over the weekend against the Dodgers. They split a 4-game series with them, and of course the Dodgers came in the red-hot streak. Outside, ball 2, 2-1. They got a great pitching performance from their 22-year-old rookie left-hander, Dennis Bennett, who shut out the Dodgers on 4 scattered hits. And they got a great relief performance by another young pitcher, Paul Brown. Outside and low, 3-1 on Elio Chacon. Now Elio checking with Solly on the lines at third. Top half of the fifth inning. Phil's 1 and the Mets nothing. 3-1 pitch by Mcleish. Foul ball on the ground, right straight back, and it's full now at 3-2. Now Elio Chacon cocks the bat, waits on the full count pitch, and whammers it on the ground down to third. Handled by Don Demeter. The peg to first in time, and Elio is out. The throw started to take off on Demeter, and Torre had to go up to grab it. Well, Cal Mcleish continues to force the hitters to beat that ball into the dirt. Now Rod Keneal is up. Rod up for the third time, has 1 for 2. He has one of the 2 hits off Cal Mcleish. Line smash, hit hard, a base hit going into left center field. Beyond the reach of Bobby Wine. Keneal a long turn around first. Now he holds up. Keneal a real hustler. Anytime he gets a base hit, he really goes ripping around first base with his eye on the outfielder, and if he juggles for just a moment, Rod really turns it on and goes for that extra base. So that gives Rod Keneal 2 for 3 and brings up Charlie Neal. Charlie 0 for 1 has been thrown out and drawn a walk. There goes Keneal, hit and run, slow grounder, past the reach of the pitcher, fielded by Wine. The throw to first, out at first, a great play by Bobby Wine. Oh, what a play by Bobby Wine, the shortstop. A slow grounder. Cal Mcleish tried to get it coming off the mound. He couldn't reach it. It didn't look like Wine had a chance to get Charlie Neal. But on a tremendous fielding play, coming in at full speed, he was up with it and through all in the same motion. A throw that had plenty on it going to Frank Torre in time for the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on, and Bobby Wine can make the play. So we've come halfway. At the end of 4.5 innings, the score, the Phillies won, and the New York Mets, nothing. Well, you know, the New York area has just about everything. It's the most wonderful place in the world. You name it, New York has got it. Parks, beaches, baseball, football, golf, lakes, and amusements. People in New York have a lot to choose from, and you know that goes for beers, too. There are quite a few brands of beer on the market, and I think it's really something that of all the brands of beer available, New Yorkers have made Rheingold Extra Dry their favorite. That's quite a tribute to the quality of Rheingold. Rheingold is brewed of the choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costly way, the extra dry way. And Extra Dry tells you why Rheingold is so wonderful, so much more refreshing. It's beer as beer should taste, brisk and bright and clean clear through. Why not enjoy the extra refreshment of Rheingold Extra Dry beer along with the game? Join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Tony Taylor up now in the last half of the fifth inning, and the pitch taken, ball one. Callison on deck, and then Gonzales. Tall Roger winds and pitches. Breaking ball inside, it's ball two. These two veterans, Cal Mcleish and Roger Craig, tearing a page out of the book of some 20 years ago. They don't waste a moment out there. They get the ball back from the catcher, and they're ready to work. They require very few warm-ups on that mound to be ready to go to work. Now the 2-0 pitch. Inside, ball three. Craig behind, 3-0 on Tony Taylor. Tony Taylor hitting at .274, tried to bunt for a hit. Canillo threw him out in the first. Walked and later scored the game's only run in the third inning. Roger Craig winds and pitches. Too high, it's ball four, and Taylor walks for the second time. Third walk given up by Roger Craig, and the second time that he has walked Taylor as the leadoff batter, which always really puts the pressure on a pitcher. He did so in the third inning, and Callison promptly got a base hit. Taylor racing around to third, and then Taylor crossed the plate as Tony Gonzalez hit a ground ball that saw the runner going to second, Johnny Callison, fourth. So Tony Taylor on first, nobody out, and Johnny Callison up. Callison 2 for 2. He's hit safely in 9 straight games. He's red hot. Swing and a miss, strike one. Callison hitting at .317. Johnny Callison, left-hand hitter. He has the ability. He can run. Now throw to first, not in time. He had a good start with the Phillies last year, then tailed off some the second half of the year, but he feels he's going to go all the way this year. Throw to first, not with real intent, and Tony Taylor has plenty of time to get back. Throw to first. He's out. He picked him off. Roger Craig picked off Tony Taylor, and there was no doubt about it. Roger Craig, a real expert when it comes to picking runners off. After throwing that ball leisurely over there a couple of times, following a routine, suddenly just spun and whipped that ball over there, and Marv Throneberry had the tag on him. One away and nobody on. Now Callison leans in and lets it go off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. You won't find anyone anywhere any better as far as right-hand pitchers are concerned at picking men off. A drive in the air to center field. Ambling back Joe Christopher. He's under it. In a stride now, and he puts it away for the out. So it's 2 set aside now in the home fifth inning, and the batter will be Tony Gonzalez. Gonzalez reached on an error in the first and on a fielder's choice in the third, so he's hitless and 2 times up. Phillies lead 1-0. We're in the last half of the fifth inning. Now Roger Craig points out towards center field. He wants Joe Christopher to play more straight away against Tony Gonzalez. Joe had pulled over a bit toward right center. Call strike on the outside corner, so he wants to pitch him outside, figuring he might hit the other way, and he had Christopher straighten up in straightaway center. Fine pitching duel unfolding. This one is inside, brushing him back from the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tony Gonzalez leads the Phils in hitting. He checked into the game, hitting at 338. His ground ball knocked in the game's only run, scoring Tony Taylor back in the 3rd inning. Tony Gonzalez just as deep in the box as you can get and as far from the plate as you can get. And the pitch is a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 8th game of the year between the Mets and the Phillies. Phillies have the edge 4 games to 3. Now Craig cranks up. In comes his pitch. Just got a piece of it, a foul ball back. And the count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lights are on now. The stadium shadows have completely covered the infield and the outfield. Still a lot of daylight remaining and a brilliant blue sky. Breeze blowing toward the right field wall. Not too strong. A drive in the air to right center. It's well hit. Running fast is Christopher. Back to the warning path. He's got it. Then bangs up against the scoreboard in right center and holds on to it. Beautiful play by Joe Christopher. That ball was really hit by Tony Gonzalez. Just as Christopher reached up and grabbed it, the impact carried him right into the scoreboard. Side out in the 5th inning with no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. So it's 5 innings complete here at Connie Mack Stadium, and the Lions score for the Phillies 1 run on 5 hits and no errors. For the New York Mets, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. In day games this afternoon, the Chicago Cubs, with Dick Ellsworth going the route, snapped the winning streak of the San Francisco Giants 4-3. Larson was the loser. In day games in the American League, Ralph Terry pitched a brilliant 4-hit shutout as the New York Yankees put down Cleveland 5-0. And a 9th inning home run by Frank Malzone enabled Bill Monbouquet and the Boston Red Sox to defeat Detroit by a score of 2-1. Those were the scores in the day games. Right now, a word from Cool Cigarettes.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough unless you're smoking cool. You're not smoking cool enough till you come up to cool. Cool's menthol magic brightens taste, refreshing all day through. Feel extra coolness in your throat as cool comes through for you. Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough unless you're smoking cool. You're not smoking cool, cool, cool enough till you come up to cool.
Remember now, if you've been striking out with hot cigarettes, switch to the menthol magic of cool. Right now, we're going along to the 6th inning and switching to Lindsey Nelson.
Frank Thomas standing in there and fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. Thomas watches outside for ball 1. Here in the top half of the 6th inning, the Mets cleanup batter at the plate. Thomas has been up twice. He grounded out and struck out, facing Cal Mcleish, who has a record of 4 victories and 1 loss thus far this season. There is a swing and a miss. 1-2 now to Frank Thomas. Both starting pitchers still in the ball game. You're at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. That pitch is low and away for a ball. It's 2-2. The Phillies are leading here by a score of 1-0 over the New York Mets. Two pitch. Swung on as a ground ball going to short. Bobby Wine has it and can't throw, drops the ball, and Thomas is safe at first. It's scored as a base hit. A base hit for Thomas. And right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
You are tuned to WGY Schenectady, your New York Mets station. Time, 24 minutes before 8.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Mets now have a base runner on the base hit by Frank Thomas, and Marv Thornberry is at the plate. He had a double last time up. Fastball drives him back, and it's inside. Ball one. Marv Thornberry had a double high off the scoreboard here in right center field at Connie Mack Stadium. He walked in the second inning, so he is 1 for 1 officially tonight. The first game of a twilight doubleheader here. We will be bringing you, of course, both games. Thornberry, left-hand batter. Man who established a reputation for power during his minor league career at Denver and then on in the majors with the New York Yankees. Here is the pitch. Swung on. There's a ground ball going to second base. Taken by Taylor. Over to Wine. He's out at second to throw to first. In time, a double play. Marv Thornberry has hit into a double play from Tony Taylor at second to Bobby Wine on over to Frank Torre at first. So there are 2 men out, nobody on base, and Joe Christopher is coming up. The Phillies maintain their 1-0 lead over the New York Mets. A warm, comfortable evening here in Philadelphia. Pitch is in there for a called strike to Christopher. He forced Marv Thornberry in the second inning and popped to third in the fourth. He's 0 for 2. Cal Mcleish works for the windup. Pitch is in there for a called strike. 2-strike count now to Christopher, with Jim Hickman kneeling in the on-deck circle. The Mets now have 4 hits off Mcleish, a total of 4. Has a swing on a little blooper going out in short left field. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. Bobby Wine chased it, lost his cap, couldn't get it. Picked up by Covington. He's on his way to second. He goes in standing with a double. Joe Christopher, utilizing his speed, rounded first, kept right on digging. It was a little Texas leaguer that fell just out of reach of the shortstop racing back. Bobby Wine lost his cap in pursuit. The ball was fielded by the left fielder, Wes Covington, but not in time to get Covington at second. So he's in there standing with a double. With 2 men out now, Jim Hickman is coming up. The hits are all even at this point. The Mets have 5 off Mcleish, and the Phillies have 5 off Craig. But the Phils lead by a score of 1-0. Top half of the 6th inning. First game of a twilight doubleheader. Mcleish is into the stretch, and here's the pitch. It's low for ball 1 to rookie Jim Hickman. Struck out in the second inning, walked in the fourth. 0 for 1 officially for the night's work thus far. Again, Cal Mcleish is set to work. Tries the curveball and gets it in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Calvin Coolidge, Julius Caesar, Tuskahoma Mcleish, who came to the major leagues with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1944. His pitching opponent tonight, Roger Craig of the New York Mets, came to the majors with the Dodgers 11 years later in 1955. Swinging a ground ball, pull foul on the third base line. It's 1-2 now to Hickman. Mcleish this season has won 4 games and lost 1 for the Phillies. Joe Christopher leading off the bag at second base with 2 men out. Mcleish looking in to get a sign from his battery mate Clay Dalrymple. As it now goes into the stretch. Pitch is on the way. Swung on and fouled off. The count holds at 1-2 to Jim Hickman. Hickman waits for the 1-2 pitch. Led up outside, and it's 2-2. Runner at second for the Mets with good speed, Joe Christopher, with 2 men out. So it's up to Jim Hickman as far as the Mets are concerned here in the top half of the 6th. Frank Thomas opened the inning by scratching a hit, but was erased on a double play. 2-2 pitch. Low and away, ball 3. It's out full now to Jim Hickman, with catcher Sammy Taylor in the on-deck circle. Defensively around the infield, the Phillies have Frank Torre at first, Tony Taylor at second, Bobby Wine at short, and Don Demeter at third. Wes Covington in left, Tony Gonzalez in center, Johnny Callison in right. Here's a payoff pitch. Check swing, ground ball to third base. It's a foul ball. Fielded by Demeter, and he throws on, but it's a foul ball. He would have had to throw there in time to get him, too, because they did go through with the throw, and Shag Crawford, the umpire at first, called it. But at third, Ed Vargo already had called it foul ball, so that will bring Hickman back. It was a close play. Just veered off before getting to the bag into foul territory. And returns Christopher to second and sets up again a 3-2 pitch. Hickman is back in the batter's box, swinging the bat. As Mcleish looks in to get his sign, Christopher takes the lead at second base. Mcleish now is into the stretch position. Here's a 3-2 pitch. He's called out on strike. He sidearmed him and struck him out. That is strikeout number 4 for Mcleish, and the Mets are out in the top half of the 6th inning with no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. And at the end of 5 1/2 innings of play in Philadelphia, the score is the Philadelphia Phillies 1 and the New York Mets nothing. Well, say, fans, the makers of Cool cigarettes want you to know how glad they are to be bringing you these games this season. They hope you're enjoying this game particularly. And, of course, they hope you're enjoying that cigarette you may be smoking. If you're not, if the brand you smoke has begun to taste hot and dry, well, then, it's time you made a change. A real change. It's time you came up to Cool. A lot of smokers have found out this fact. Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough till you come up to Cool. Know why? It's because Cool's menthol magic actually brightens taste. It's refreshing all day through. You'll feel extra coolness in your throat all day long. Extra coolness no other cigarette can give you. Take it from me, I know. Fans, now's the time to come all the way up to Cool. Get Cool Filter Kings or Cool without filter. Feel that extra coolness in your throat. We're going now to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and the Philadelphia Phillies will send up Wes Covington, Clay Dalrymple, and Don Demeter to face Roger Craig. Covington hit into a double play in the 1st inning. He singled sharply down the right field line in the 3rd inning. Roger Craig winds and fires. It's low for a ball. The Mets with Marv Thornberry at first base, Charlie Neal at second, Elio Chacon at short, and Rod Keneal is playing third base. Frank Thomas in left, Joe Christopher in center, and Jim Hickman in right. Change of speed, and it's full foul on the first base line, fielded back there by Marv Thornberry. With Ed Boucher having been optioned to Syracuse on a 24-hour recall basis, the New York Mets now have Marv Thornberry and Gil Hodges available for first base duty. And they also are protected there by the availability of Rod Keneal, who has been used at first base and performed there very well. Gil Hodges still hobbled with the leg. Pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-1. During infield practice before tonight's ball game, Gil Hodges was in there with the second crew as a catcher, throwing the ball around the infield. He can move around a little bit, but still cannot go at anything like 100% full speed. Here's a fly ball going deep to right field. Jim Hickman moves over and is underneath. He's waiting, he camps, and he takes it for the out. So Covington is flied out to Jim Hickman in right field. There's one away, and that will bring up catcher Clay Dalrymple, who struck out and doubled. He had a shot down the right field line that brought up chalk dust. A tennis stroke right down there for a double in the bottom half of the third inning. No baseball team is better than its bench, of course, and manager Casey Stengel figures he wants to let Rod Caneal play third base for a day or two and leave Felix Mantilla on the bench for pinch hitting duty. That's a pitch down low for ball one to Clay Dalrymple. Nobody on base and one man out. That pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-0. The Mets, of course, were glad to get Ray Davio back, recalling him from Syracuse. Davio opened the season on the pitching staff of the New York Mets. And with the number of doubleheaders that they have coming up, they're going to need all the pitching help they can get. Pitch is in there for a call strike. It's 2-1. So Frenchie Davio is a welcome addition to the playing roster of the New York Mets. Ball is bunted foul. Catcher Clay Dalrymple figuring that he just might be able to catch the rookie third baseman Rod Caneal, playing a little deep. Tried to bunt the ball. Chacon is playing on the edge of the grass over toward the bag at second. They play Clay Dalrymple strictly to pull. Dalrymple came into the game tonight with a batting average of 311. His hitting has improved immensely since about mid-season last year. About mid-season, he was hitting something like 220, but he came on with a rush. He started out this season with a blazing bat. There's a drive going to first base deep, fielded by Thornberry. He'll have to play to Craig. He does, and he's out at first base. A hard smash behind the bag at first, fielded by Thornberry, and he played to Roger Craig covering. For the second out of the inning, 2 away, nobody on for the Philadelphia Phillies, batting in the bottom of the sixth. And that will bring up Don Demeter. He flied to right and he grounded out third to first. Demeter is a right-hand batter with a wide stance at the plate. Started his major league career with the Dodgers as an outfielder. As a pitch swung on and fouled off down the third base line, it's strike one to Demeter. The Philadelphia Phillies are leading the Mets by a score of 1-0 here at Connie Mack Stadium. Roger Craig going against Cal Mcleish. Both starters still in the ball game. Phillies got their run in the bottom half of the third inning. Pitch is low and away for a ball. It's 1-1. Bill scored in the third on a walk, a single that sent Tony Taylor to third, and then a force play that scored the run. Tony Gonzalez getting the RBI. There's a blast on the left field line. It's falling in for a base hit. Picked up out there by Thomas. Relays it in. Turning and holding it first is Don Demeter with a single to left. That is hit number 6 for the Phils. Gives them a runner at first with 2 men out, and left-hand batter and first baseman Frank Torre is coming up. He walked and he grounded out. 0-1 tonight. In the National League, the San Francisco Giants started the day, of course, with a 2-game lead over the second-place Los Angeles Dodgers. Pitch is in there for a called strike. But this afternoon, the Chicago Cubs defeated the league-leading San Francisco Giants 4-3. Now tonight, the Dodgers are in Pittsburgh, and they have to complete a game that was caught by the curfew last night in the 8th inning before playing the regularly scheduled game. Craig's throw over to first is not in time. Again, Craig goes into the stretch and throws over to first again on Don Demeter. He's back safely. There are 2 men out. The count is strike 1 to Torre. Pitch is low for a ball. 1-1.
Last night in Pittsburgh, the Dodgers won the first game of a doubleheader 3-2 over the Pirates, and were leading in the second game 7-3 after 8 innings when the curfew cut it. Here's a high-hopping ground ball over the head of Thornberry and going on into right field. Demeter's on his way to third. Hickman up with the ball, fires it back into Neal. Holding at third is Demeter. And on at first is Torre with a high-hopping ground ball that bounded over the head of Thornberry at first base and on out into right field for a base hit. So with 2 men out, the Philadelphia Phillies have runners at first and third, and shortstop Bobby Wine coming up. That was base hit number 7 for the Phils off Roger Craig. Bobby Wine is the shortstop. He singled in the second inning. He fouled out to the catcher in the fourth. He is from Northport, Long Island. Was signed to a bonus contract by the Philadelphia Phillies. They had him at Buffalo when Ruben Amaro, their fine shortstop, the man they considered the glue man of the infield, went back into the armed services. They waited about a week before recalling Bobby Wine, and then they stuck him in there at shortstop, and he has taken over that position. Wine, during his minor league career, was seriously injured when struck by a pitch ball on one occasion, and like Don Zimmer and other ball players, he has had to battle his way back. That pitch is in there, inside, for ball 1. He says that he has been troubled a little bit himself by bailing out at the plate on close pitches. At Buffalo, occasionally he was used as a switch hitter. With the Phillies, he's been batting entirely as a right-hand batter. Swinging a ground ball. Fielded on Epifanus Lowry, coaching at third. Manager Gene Mock is not running the club from the lines these days. He is running it from the dugout. He opened the season running the club from the coaching box at third, but tonight he has Al Vinson at first and Peanuts Lowry at third. Umpire Doug Harvey behind the plate puts a new ball into play. Shag Crawford is at first and Ed Vargo is at third tonight. They're working with 3 umpires because Al Barlick, who is actually the senior umpire in this particular crew, is out with an eye infection. One and one is the count to Bobby Wine at the plate. Craig fires over to first. Frank Torre gets back safely. Demeter is the base runner at third. With 2 men out, Wine is the man he wants. Pitch is low and away for a ball. It's 2-1. The Phils lead by a score of 1-0, and they are making a bid here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Throw over to first is not in time as Frank Torre gets back safely. So at the plate now, Bobby Wine steps out of the batter's box. Time has been called on at first now as Torre walks over to talk to Coach Al Vinson. Now he's back on the bag at first. Craig throws over, not in time. He's back safely. Two and one to count to Bobby Wine at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swung on and has a fly ball to left field. Frank Thomas moves in underneath it. He's waiting. He takes it for the out. So Bobby Wine is flied to left, and in the bottom half of the 6th inning, the Philadelphia Phillies got no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And at the end of 6 full innings of play in Philadelphia, the score is the Philadelphia Phillies 1 and the New York Mets nothing. In the American League this afternoon, the New York Yankees shut out the Cleveland Indians by a score of 5-0 to move into undisputed possession of first place in the American League. The Boston Red Sox defeated the Detroit Tigers by a score of 2-1. The only action in the National League this afternoon was the victory of the Cubs over the San Francisco Giants by a score of 4-3. Keep in mind that at the Polo Grounds in New York, July 14th will be Old Timers Day. And the theme of the Old Timers Day will be the playoff of the 1951 pennant in the National League between the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers. So Bobby Thompson will be there. Ralph Branco will be there. Leo DeRocher will be there. Duke Snyder. Gil Hodges. the regular game that day is the Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So mark that one on your baseball calendar and purchase your tickets for the Old Timers Day, July 14th at the Polo Grounds. Going to the top half of the seventh inning, and Sammy Taylor is the man up to lead off for the Mets as they trail by 1 run. Cal Mcleish still in there for the Philadelphia Phillies, looking for his 5th victory of the season. He's faced the Mets twice previously, and he beat them both times. Pitch is low to Taylor for a ball. Prior to tonight's game, these two teams had met 7 times. The Phils had won 4 games, and the Mets had won 3. Checked it and took it low for ball 2. 2-0 to Sammy Taylor. The Mets have 5 hits tonight, hoping to get something started here to push across something. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Manager Casey Stengel right now is off the bench and pacing in the dugout, looking out onto the field. Mcleish now into the windup for a 2-0 pitch to Taylor. It is taken outside for ball 3. It's 3-0. Mcleish looking in for the sign, has it. 3-0 pitch. Ball 4, he walked him, and the Mets have a base runner to open the inning here in the top half of the 7th. That is the 6th walk given up by Cal Mcleish, and Roger Craig is coming up now to bat for himself. And the Phils move in at first and third in anticipation of a sacrifice attempt here. And we have someone coming out of the bullpen. It's Bob Miller running out of the bullpen, and he's going to come right across the diamond to run to Sam Taylor. This represents potential tying run, so Bob Miller is being brought out of the bullpen to run for Sammy Taylor at first base. Miller cuts right across the infield by shortstop and comes right on over to first. Now a strategy conference at the mound, and Gene Mock, the manager, has come out, has called his entire infield in with the exception of shortstop Bobby Wine. Demeter is there, and Torre is there, and Taylor is there. Mcleish is there. He's supposed to be there. He's the pitcher. And Clay Dalrymple, the catcher, is there. Gene Mock now turns and walks back toward the dugout. He anticipates a sacrifice attempt. Sally Hemus, the coach at third for the New York Mets, has taken advantage of this opportunity to call Roger Craig down and talk to him. And here's the announcement of Miller running for Taylor. Way in on the grass at third is Don Demeter. Here's the pitch, and it is fouled off. Trying to bunt it was Roger Craig. Squared around the bunt and just tipped it off. It is strike 1 to Craig. Tony Taylor, the second baseman, had charged all the way past Mcleish. Torre did not charge. Second baseman Taylor charged right by Mcleish and past him. Demeter is playing way in on the grass at third, as the Phils, of course, fully anticipate the sacrifice attempt. He squares around the butt, down the first baseline, taken by Dalrymple. He's going to second base, and he's safe. He drops the ball. Miller slid in, and the ball was dropped by Bobby Wine at second base. Clay Dalrymple fielded the butt, so both runners are safe. At first and second, it is scored as an error on the shortstop. An error on Bobby Wine. No sacrifice, since the error is charged against the shortstop. It is the opinion of the official scorer that he would have been out there had the ball not been dropped. So Roger Craig bunted it down the first baseline. Clay Dalrymple fielded the ball, fired on to Bobby Wine, and he dropped the ball. So the Mets have runners at first and second. Miller at second, Craig at first, and Elio Chacon is coming up with nobody out. The Mets trail by 1 run. So again, there's anticipation of a bunt attempt. Demeter at third is in, and Torre this time at first is in on the edge of the grass. Mcleish is into the stretch. Here's the pitch. It's outside for a ball. Elio had shortened up to bunt the ball, but did not go through. Took it outside for ball 1. now there is action in the bullpen of the Philadelphia Phillies. Jack Balshin is throwing in the bullpen. A right-hander, Jack Balshin. McLeish is into the stretch position now. Here's the pitch. Elio fires it out into right field for a base hit. Miller is holding at third as Callison comes up with the ball in right field. Has not thrown yet. And the bases are loaded. Elio bluffed the butt and then sort of punched the ball out into right field for a base hit to load him up with nobody out. And Callison came in and took the ball in short right and was sort of bluffing Miller to come on home. Miller turned at third and held. So now the Mets have loaded him up with Bob Miller, the base runner, at third. Roger Craig, the base runner, at second. And Roger Craig has called time now. Craig has called time and comes over to check with Salehimas, the coach at third base. Base runner at first, of course, is Elio Chacon, getting a base hit to right there, bluffing the butt and punching the ball, sort of firing it out there into right field. That was base hit number 6 for the New York Mets. So now Craig has the information he needs, goes back to the bag at second. Coming up, Rod Kaniel. He's 2 for 3 tonight. The rookie third baseman. He's the rookie anything. He's used all around. The handyman of the New York Mets, Rod Kaniel. So trailing by 1 run. Here in the top half of the 7th, the New York Mets have loaded them up. Jack Balshin continues to throw in the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. Starting pitcher, Cal Mcleish, looking in to get a sign from Clay Dalrymple. He goes into the windup, and here's the pitch. Swung on, and there's a fly ball going into short left. Shortstop Bobby Wine is out there calling. Infield fly is called. Infield fly is called as Wine makes the catch. With the bases loaded and nobody out, infield fly is called. Right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, where you can hear all the games of the New York Mets. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, where Charlie Neal is coming up now with 1 man out. The base is still loaded for the New York Mets. The Mets trying to push across at least 1 run here in the top half of the 7th inning as the Phillies lead him by a score of 1-0. The Phils got their run in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. So it's the number 3 man in the batting order, Charlie Neal. He's grounded out twice and walked tonight. He's nothing for 2. Cal Mcleish looks in to get a sign from Clay Dalrymple. He has it now. He's into the windup. Runners taking their lead. Here's the pitch on the way to the plate. Swung on and fouled off into the stands and out of play. It's strike 1 to Charlie Neal. The Mets have left 7 runners stranded tonight in this ball game, in which they trail 1-0. They have them loaded up now with 1 man out. Here is the pitch to Charlie Neal. Tries to bunt it and punts it off foul. Bunting for a base hit. It is strike 2 now to Charlie Neal, trying to push it down the first baseline. So Neal is standing outside the batter's box right now. He has a 2-strike count. Frank Thomas swinging the bats in the on-deck circle for the New York Mets. Casey Stengel pacing in the dugout. Cal Mcleish again looks for the sign. He has it. Runners leading at every base. Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul ball back onto the screen and out of play. The count holds at strike 2 to Charlie Neal. Bob Miller running for Sammy Taylor as the base runner at third. Pitcher Roger Craig is the base runner at second. Leadoff man Elio Chacon is the base runner at first. 1 man out for the Mets. First game of a twilight doubleheader at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. Again, McLeish is into the windup. The pitch to Charlie Neal. He struck him out. Throw to first. He's back safely. 2 men away. The base is still loaded. That was strikeout number 5 for Cal Mcleish, and a big, big one for him. Now 2 men out, and it'll be up to Frank Thomas as far as the Mets are concerned with the bases loaded. Thomas is 1 for 3 tonight. He grounded out, struck out, and beat out a hit to short. Phillies pull the defense around to play him as a pull hitter. Not nearly as much as many clubs do, but they pull it around. Dimiter playing near the line at third. Here's the pitch to Thomas. It's taken low for ball 1. The Phils lead the Mets 1-0. The Mets have loaded the bases with now 2 men out in the top half of the 7th inning. Here's a pitch to Thomas. Change of speed. It's a ground ball to third. Demeter takes it. Plays to Taylor at second. He is out at second base by the barest of margins. He is out. So they got the force at second to retire the side. Chacon sliding in there, and Shag Crawford called the play. It went from Don Demeter, who fielded the ball deep and threw on to Taylor in order to get Elio Chacon. So McLeish got himself out of big trouble, and he is getting a hand as he walked off the mound. In the top half of the seventh, the Mets got no runs. On one hit, there was one error and 3 men left on base. And so at the end of 6.5 innings of play in Philadelphia, the score is Philadelphia Phillies 1 and the New York Mets nothing. You know, fans, Webster's defines extra as something in addition to what is expected. And that's just what the word extra means on the label of a bottle or a can of Rheingold Extra Dry. It's your promise of something additional in refreshment, something more of the taste you want in beer. Rheingold is extra dry to be extra refreshing. It's beer as beer should taste, and dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costly way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. So why don't you treat yourself to something extra right now? Have a cool, refreshing glass of Rheingold along with this game. You'll join millions everywhere who like the dry beer best, Rheingold Extra Dry. Manager Casey Stengel came out to protest to Shag Crawford his call on the forced play at second. But we're going now to the bottom half of the seventh inning. And the catcher in the ballgame for the Mets is Hobie Landreth. Hobie Landreth is now catching for the Mets. You'll recall that Sammy Taylor was taken out of the ballgame for pinch runner Bob Miller. And Cal Mcleish is the first man up, and he's getting a hand here at Connie Mack Stadium. There's the announcement of Hobie Landreth in the lineup as the catcher. So Cal Mcleish coming up here to lead off in the bottom half of the seventh, as the Phils still lead by a score of 1-0. The Mets so far have left 10 men stranded in tonight's ball game. That pitch is low and away for a ball. Roger Craig, the starter, working straight away with the windup. Here's a pitch. It misses for ball 2. It's 2-0. Like the New York Mets, the Phillies leave town at the completion of tonight's doubleheader. That pitch is inside. It's ball 3, so Craig has gone out 3-0 on opposing pitcher Cal Mcleish. McLeish popped to first and popped to short. Tonight's ball game, he has one base hit this season. There's a pitch in there for a called strike. Well, the game that was caught by the curfew last night in Pittsburgh has been completed now, and the Dodgers have defeated Pittsburgh by a score of 8-3. Drysdale the winner and Friend the loser. Pitch is in there for a call strike, so that one will go into the standings. Now, Koufax relieved Drysdale in the ninth inning, but Drysdale gets credit for the victory. It was Koufax who pitched it tonight, as they had only one inning of play remaining. Here's a swing and a ground ball foul. That was the ball game that was called because of the curfew last night in Pittsburgh at the end of 8 innings between the Dodgers and the Pirates, and the Dodgers scored a run in the top of the ninth to win it 8-3. So that one now goes into the standings. Count of 3 balls and 2 strikes to Cal Mcleish at the plate. He walked him, ball 4, pitched him tight. That's the 4th walk given up by Roger Craig. Mcleish waiting for the jacket before he goes down to first. Hands the bad boy his helmet. Fair exchange. And Mcleish takes a casual stroll down toward first. It will be leadoff man Tony Taylor coming up for the Philadelphia Phillies with nobody out. Roger Craig walks a few steps over and calls Rod Keneal in. There is anticipation of a bunt attempt here, of course. The Phillies have a one-run lead. They'd like to add an insurance run, if possible, here in the bottom half of the seventh inning. All right, Tony Taylor steps into the batter's box. He's walked twice tonight. Here's a swing and a ground ball past Keneal and on out into left field for a base hit. Rounding second and heading for third is Mcleish. Thomas is up with the ball, relays it in, and Taylor goes to second with a stand-up double. Rod Keneal was pulled way in on the grass in anticipation of a bunt attempt, and instead, a ground ball was smashed past him and on down the line for a double. So the Phils, with nobody out, have runners at second and third. Coming up will be John Callison, who tonight is single, double, and flied to center. Callison has hit safely in 9 straight ball games in the midst of a hot streak for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's a left-hand batter. So Roger Craig is in trouble here with nobody out. Has a fly ball going foul on the left field line, out of play. It's strike one to Callison. Obie Landreth, with the new ball, is massaging it as he walks out to say a word to Roger Craig. Thornberry is playing even with the bag at first. Rod Keneal, even with the edge of the grass at third. Neal at second and Chacon at short at medium depth. Craig looking in to get a sign from Landreth with a strike one count on John Callison. The Phillies lead by a score of 1-0, making a bid here in the bottom half of the seventh inning. That pitch is low for ball. It's 1-1. Callison steps out of the batter's box. Now comes back in. Slight wind blowing out toward right here at County Mac Stadium. Craig's pitch swung on. It's a little nubber right back to Craig. It's called a foul ball. Hit him there in the batter's box, hit him right on the ankle, and rolled on out to Roger Craig, who came off the mound to field it. But the call is foul ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Johnny Callison. Still limping around a little bit, goes over and gets the pine tar rag also. Work on the handle of the bat a little bit. Obie Landreth still out there talking to Roger Craig. Cal Mcleish, the pitcher, is the base runner at third, and Tony Taylor, with plenty of speed, is the base runner at second. Craig now looking in for a sign from Landreth. Works with his windup. It's a 1-2 pitch on the way. Low and away. It's ball 2, 2-2. Nobody out for the Phils. Craig has the sign now. Into the windup and the pitch. Swung on and foul down to Al Vinson. The coach at first base, he knocks it down, picks it up, tosses it back out of play. So the count holds at 2-2 to Johnny Callison, to be followed by Tony Gonzalez and Wes Covington. again is set to work. Here's 2-2 pitch. It's low for a ball. It's 3-2 now. Elio Chacon comes in a couple of steps on the grass, yelling something over to Roger Craig. So Craig is faced with the proposition of a payoff pitch here to Johnny Callison. Now he's set to work. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's a fly ball going out into short right field. Christopher is coming over, and Hickman's coming over. Hickman calls and takes it. McLeish tag, draws the throw, and goes back to the bag. It's taken by Landreth all the way on the fly. At the plate, actually up the line about 5 or 6 feet toward first base. But no advance on the fly ball to Hickman in right. As Callison has flied out. Christopher was over there, but Hickman took it and then cut the throw loose all the way in on the fly. Again, Hobie Landreth confers with pitcher Roger Craig. Landreth comes back behind the plate, and now Craig calls him back out there to check with him again. The batter is Tony Gonzalez. Was on an error. Hit into a force play that scored the one run that has been scored in the ball game. And he flied to center. So Roger Craig still in difficulty here. And still the New York Mets defense is the same. Thornberry and Keneal, even with the bag. Neal and Chacon, medium depth. This one's a foul ball coming back out of play. It's strike one. Tony Gonzalez. Batting number 3 in the batting order for manager Gene Mock's Philadelphia Phillies. Craig looks in for the sign. Runners leading at second and third. The pitch is high and tight. 1-1 to Gonzales. Craig taking his time working here, trying to get out of trouble. Now he's set to go into the windup, and here's the pitch. It's high. Ball 2. 2-1 now. Tony Gonzalez. Craig opened the inning by walking pitcher Cal Mcleish. Then Rod Keneal, the third baseman, was pulled in, stationed on the grass in anticipation of a sacrifice attempt. Instead, Tony Taylor, with a full swing, drove the ball past Keneal and on down the left field line for a double. Put runners at second and third. That's where we are right now with one man out. Change of speed, misses outside. It's 3-1 now to Gonzales, with Wes Covington due up next. Craig again taking his time getting a sign. This will be a 3-1 pitch to Tony Gonzalez. Ball 4, he walked him. Well, it was safe to assume they wouldn't want to give him anything too good on 3-1, with Covington coming up next. A man who can hit the baseball, but who also does not have good speed, and was doubled in the bottom half of the first inning. That was the 5th walk given up by Craig. So they're loaded up for the Phillies. McLeish at third, Taylor at second, Gonzalez at first, and Wes Covington coming up. Hit into a double play, singled, and flied to right. Covington a menacing left-hand batter. Waits for the pitch. It's taken low for a ball. Ken McKenzie is throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Left-hander Ken McKenzie is throwing in the bullpen. Manager Stengel again is up and off the bench, pacing up and down in the dugout. Now stops with his hands on his hips and peers out onto the playing field. Starts to walk, still with his hands on his hips in the dugout. Now he stops again as Craig is waiting for Covington to get back in the batter's box now. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning here at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. The Phillies lead the Mets by a score of 1-0. And they have runners on first, second, and third. Here's a fly ball going to deep right field. Hickman is going back in the warning track. He makes the catch. McLeish tags and comes down the line. He scores. Taylor goes to third. Gonzalez holds it first. 1 run in on the long sacrifice fly into right field. So scored as a sacrifice fly and a run batted in for Wes Covington as Cal Mcleish tagged and came on to score. The throw in by Hickman was cut off. As Taylor had tagged at second and moved on to third, there was no advance by Gonzales from first there. Runners at first and third, 2 men out. Catcher Clay Dalrymple, a left-hand batter coming up. Conference at the mound. Catcher Hobie Landreth, first baseman Marv Thornberry, pitcher Roger Craig. Dalrymple struck out, doubled, and grounded out. Low and away for a ball. Craig fired that one. Charlie Neal playing the left-hand batter on the edge of the outfield grass. Shortstop Elio Chacon playing deep and shaded way over towards second base. Craig working, of course, from a stretch position. Pitch is low for ball 2 to Clay Dalrymple. Phillies have 1 run in here this inning. They lead by a score of 2-0. Craig throws over to first, not in time to get Gonzalez. Pitch to the plate, swung on as a fly ball to left field. Frank Thomas drifts back. He's waiting, and Thomas makes the catch for the out. That retires the side. So in the bottom half of the 7th, the Phillies got 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left. And at the end of 7 full innings of play at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, the score is Philadelphia Phillies 2 and the New York Mets 0. Keep in mind that the New York Mets will be coming home off this road trip on Friday night, June 15th, and they will meet the Chicago Cubs with Ernie Banks, Lou Brock, Ron Santo. That will be at 8 p.m. on Friday night the 15th. And then the 16th is Ladies' Day and Camera Day, Saturday afternoon. So if you bring your cameras and come down to the Polo Grounds by noon, from 12 until 12:45, you can come down into the box seats and take pictures of the players, have them posed for you. So mark that baseball date on your calendar. Here is a defensive change by the Philadelphia Phillies. Jackie Davis is now playing left field. Jackie Davis is playing left field for the Phillies. A defensive move. As Marv Thornberry will be coming up to lead off for the New York Mets in the top half of the 8th. Thornberry had a double high off the scoreboard in the top half of the 4th inning. Otherwise, he hit into a double play and walked. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He steps into the batter's box, and pitcher Cal Mcleish, the starter, still in there. Now with a 2-run lead to sustain him. McLeish with the windup and the pitch. Swung on and has a ground ball going to second base. It is off the chest of Tony Taylor. Recovers, fires to first in time for the out. Taylor was playing Thornberry back on the edge of the outfield grass. Squared the ball. It was off his chest, but he had it right in front of him so he could pick it up and make the play on to first base in time. One away, and Christopher's coming up now in the top half of the 8th inning for the New York Mets. Joe Christopher had a double in the top half of the 6th inning, using his speed to good advantage. He's a right-hand batter. In the top of the 7th, the Mets loaded him up with nobody out, but could not manage to push across the run. Curveball misses outside. It's ball 1 to Joe Christopher. Fastball in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Jim Hickman is kneeling in the on-deck circle for the Mets. This is the first game of a twilight doubleheader here in Philadelphia. Jack Balshin is up and throwing again in the bullpen for the Phils. Change of speed, and there's a ground ball to third. Taken by Dimmador on a short hop. He fires on to first in time, and Christopher's out. 2 away and nobody on for the Mets, with right-hand batter Jim Hickman coming up. Hickman struck out, walked, and struck out. Nothing for 2 tonight. McLeish works for the windup and the pitch. Bunted, fouled on the first base line, out of play. It's strike 1 to Jim Hickman. Hobie Landreth now is in the on-deck circle for the Mets. Missed inside for ball. It's 1-1. Here's the pitch to Hickman. Swung on and full foul. And right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
29 minutes past 8 o'clock. WABC, New York's first station for music.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy. Here's the pitch to Hickman. He swings and misses for strike 3. Struck him out. That is strikeout number 6 for McLeish. And in the top half of the 8th inning, the Mets are out with no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 7.5 innings of play, the score is Philadelphia Phillies 2 and the New York Mets nothing. And now coming right up, jazz variations on a favorite tune.
My beer is Rheingold, a dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet, it's a dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer? Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
Like the song says, people everywhere sing out, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. And dry tells you why. Yes, sir. Dry tells you Rheingold has a brisk, bright, clean taste all its own. Discover the difference dry makes. Pour yourself a tall, refreshing glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. Enjoy it along with the game. And now as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, coming in here right now, Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay, we're all set to go. First man up is Don Demeter, and he swings and fouls the first pitch down towards Peanuts Lowry, the third base coach, for strike number 1. Roger Craig, working into the 8th inning so far, has given up 2 runs. He has allowed 8 base hits, struck out 1, and walked 5. Phillies scored their first run in the 3rd. They added 1 more in the 7th. 2-0 ball game as Craig comes back to Demeter with a high fastball, a big swing, and a foul back on the screen. So
This is WGY Schenectady.
with 2 quick strikes. right-hander back to the plate. A slider that's outside and low, ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It'll be Demeter, Torre, and Bob Wine in that order here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. There's the next pitch, and outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Demeter 1 base hit and 3 times up. He came into the ball game batting .304, so here's 1 for 3, helping that average. The 2-2 pitch is a curveball, and it's outside, ball 3. So Roger Craig all the way down the line to Don Demeter. 3 balls and 2 strikes as he leads off here in the bottom of the 8th. The next pitch to Demeter, a big swing and a foul tip into the catcher's glove. Ovilander hanging onto the ball for a strikeout. So the first man out, and that's strikeout number 2 by Roger Craig. And the batter now, Frank Torre. Torre, a left-handed batter. Craig into the windup, and the first pitch outside, a fastball, ball 1. Craig back with a changeup that catches at the knees, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Torre 1 for 2 in the game. He also has a walk to go along. Now the right-hander back to the plate, and it's a swing and a foul out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-0 game, Philadelphia. 1 out, bottom half of the 8th inning. Craig looking for the sign from Hobie Landreth. Takes it, goes into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Craig back to the plate, and this time he just misses at the knees. And he goes down to 3 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter, Bob Wine. So Roger Craig with 1 out. 3-2 on Frank Torre. Phillies have 2 runs on 8 hits. The Mets have no runs on 6. And the 3-2 pitch to Torre is outside for ball 4. Walk number 6 issued by Roger Craig. A runner now at first base and the batter Bob Wine. Wine singled his first time up. Then he was out on a pop-up to the catcher in foul territory, and out on a fly ball to left field. He's a right-handed batter. Infield set for the double play. The first pitch set right at the shortstop, a chance for 2. To kneel in time to first base, and plenty of time that retires the side. The Mets with their second double play of the day. So in the inning for the Philadelphia Phillies, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 walk, 1 man left. And the score at the end of 8 innings of play, the Philadelphia Phillies 2, the New York Mets nothing. Say on Saturday, July 14th, before a regularly scheduled game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Mets, an old-timers game will be played. But it won't be just an ordinary old-timers day. It will be a game made up of old-timers that played in the 1951 playoff game, which allowed the San Francisco Giants to play in the World Series against the New York Yankees. Old-timers Day on July 14th, so be sure to mark that one on your calendar. You'll be seeing players like Bobby Thompson, Also, you'll know this, too, that the Dodgers will be in town, so they'll be playing there right along. Old Timers Day on July the 14th. Well, right now we're getting set to go to the top half of the ninth inning, and the New York Mets down 2-0 to the Philadelphia Phillies. You know, the Mets are the only team in baseball that have not been shut out once this year. And right now, they're batting in the top of the ninth, and they need a run to break that one. They need 3 to win, 2 to tie. Here in the ninth inning, it will be Hobie Landreth up for the first time. He came in the ball game when Sammy Taylor was out for a pinch runner. Then we'll have a pinch hitter, Richie Ashburn, for the pitcher, Roger Craig. And then the leadoff man, Elio Chacon. So the Mets now needing 2 runs to tie. Top of the ninth inning. And Hobie Landreth in the batter's box, batting left-handed. The pitcher is Cal Mcleish. He has gone all the way. So far, has given up no runs and allowed only 6 hits. First pitch to Hobie, a called strike, a fastball through. And Jack Balsham warming up in the bullpen for the Phillies. Next pitch is back to the plate outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Cal Mcleish into the windup, and a pitch hit down the right field line. It'll go for a base hit. Landreth rounds at first base and holds there as Callison comes up with the ball and throws on in. So now the Mets with a runner at first base and no one out in the top of the ninth inning, and the batter will be Richie Ashburn. Hit number 7 off of Cal Mcleish, and the Mets now have the time run at the plate. Jay Hook goes in to run for Hobie Landreth at first base. Richie Ashburn batting .338, a left-handed batter being introduced in the game. And now Clay Dalrymple goes out to the mound very slowly. They're taking all the time they can now. Balsham warming up quickly in the bullpen for the Phillies. Mets need 2 to tie. Top of the ninth inning. And Sally Hemus runs in from third base to convey the signs verbally to Richie Ashburn. Not much Richie has to do here but get on base. His run, the time run in the ball game. First pitch to Richie as he takes his call, strike 1. Richie trying to make Cal Mcleish work all the way, was taking right down. So Mcleish, 1 strike. As he pitches to Richie Ashburn here in the top of the ninth. Outfield shaded towards left field against Ashburn. Next pitch is popped up down the third base side out in the left field. Coming in from left field, Jackie Davis, who came in place of Wes Covington, and he makes the catch. So Mcleish now with 1 out. Holding at first base, Jay Hook. And the batter is Elio Chacon. Elio has singled. He has grounded out to third. He has walked, and he has struck out. 1 for 3 in the ball game. This single coming in the 7th inning when the Mets had their best chance to score a run. They had the bases loaded and no one out and couldn't get a run across. Now Chacon, a right-handed batter, and the first pitch to him by Cal Mcleish is taken low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Hook at first base, not being held on. His run means nothing in the game right now in the 9th inning. And the pitch to the plate is low again, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Elio Chacon. And now Elio looking for the sign from Sally Hemus. The big thing here is for Chacon to get on. He's the tying run. The on-deck batter is Rod Cannell. Cal Mcleish into the stretch. And the pitch to the plate. It's swung on, hit the left field. It could be in. Coming over is Jackie Davis. And it goes foul. Just foul. As Davis can't get to it, it rolls on out. And that ball was fouled by about a foot. Giving a sign, the home plate umpire as he moved on down the third base line. So Elio Chacon missing an extra base hit by inches. And going back now to first base after reaching third is Jay Hook, and Chacon, who was already out at second base, returns to the plate. A long strike. They count 2 balls and 1 strike. Davis, the left fielder, was put in the ball game for a defensive measure, replacing Wes Covington in left field. He's a fast man. He came a long way and just about got to the ball, but if the ball had been in fair territory, he could not have made the catch. He would have gone for at least a base hit or a 2-base hit. Now McClish with a 2-1 pitch to Chacon. It's a called strike at the knees, strike 2. Curveball breaking over right at the knees. Clay Dalrymple, the catcher, dropped the ball, but kept it out to the right side of the plate. So Jay Hook at first had to hold. McClish backs the plate with a 2-2 pitch, and it's low. So the count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. The Mets need 2 to tie in the top of the 9th inning. A runner at first base, and Chacon looking for the 3-2 sign. The on-deck batter, Rod Cannell. Cal Mcleish reading the sign from his catcher, Clay Dalrymple. Stares long and hard, now sets on the mound. And the 3-2 pitch as the runner goes is popped up. Jay Hook, who was already at second, will hustle back to first, coming in from right field, the right fielder making the catch. So Johnny Callison makes the catch for out number 2. And now with 2 men out, a runner at first base. The Mets have 1 chance to score a run. They need 2 to tie. They have not been shut out this year. And being called back, Rod Cannell, and here is Felix Mantilla. Now, Rod Cannell is taken out for a pinch hitter, and Felix Mantilla, right-handed batter, utility infielder, is put in. Well, this spot certainly not an unusual spot. Mantilla came up to bat in the 13th inning against Harvey Haddix a few years back. Got on base, and it led to Haddix's perfect game being spoiled. Felix Mantilla, right-handed batter. In the first pitch, a curveball way outside, ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Mantilla batting .273. McClish with the 1-0 pitch. It's inside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Still throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies, Jack Balsham. Mets on deck batter is Charlie Neal. Phillies 2, the Mets nothing. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Now the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled away. So the count now, 2 balls and 1 strike. Cal Mcleish working on the mound, looking for his 5th victory of the year. He's lost only 1. Only 1 out away. And the 2-1 pitch to Mantilla. Popped up in the air in foul territory. Coming over is Clay Dalrymple, but he can't get to it. It goes in the stand. So Mantilla stays alive. The count now 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And going back to first base, Jay Hook. McClish with 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. And the pitch to Mantilla. Hit up in the air and down the third base line. Coming over the third baseman in foul territory. Now the shortstop there, and he makes the catch and ends the game. So for the first time this year, the New York Mets are shut out. The Phillies win it 2-0. I'll be back with a recap of the ball game in a minute. You know, some cigarettes make a hit the first time they come to bat. But through the day, they seem to get hotter and drier as you smoke them. If you've been striking out with hot cigarettes or those weak menthols, it's time you made a change. It's time you came up, all the way up to cool.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough unless you're smoking cool. You're not smoking cool enough till you come up to cool. Cool's menthol magic brightens taste, refreshing all day through.
Feel extra coolness in your throat as cool comes through for you.
Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough unless you're smoking cool. You're not smoking cool enough till you come up